and welcome to another Mobile App Developer Academy course. This course is entitled Personalization. Today I'm going to show you how to implement a dynamic scrolling menu. While developing MicroStrategy mobile applications, we typically face the challenge of having to develop content menus that allow us to navigate to other parts of the application. Commonly, we try to link images that represent subject areas with the target document. The approach here is to insert images in the document and then associate them with linked properties to other documents. This method utilizes either the Edit Links feature or the MicroStrategy Mobile URL API. These methods are fairly simple to implement and work well in most cases. However, enterprise-scale projects requiring frequent and ongoing additions can be difficult to manage and are not scalable. Additionally, many use cases and workflows require the ability to expose certain navigation link options to some users and not to others. In these cases, another solution should be considered. The dynamic scrolling solution has three components. First is database development, which includes database table creation and data load. Second is graphical design, which consists of equally sized image thumbnails for each item that can include shadow, glow, mirror, or other graphical effects. These images are stored on the mobile server or other shared locations such as Google Drive or Dropbox. Finally, we have MicroStrategy development, which consists of schema development, such as table import, menu item attribute development, application object development, such as creating a report for a menu that is used as a grid in a dashboard, configuration object development, such as security filters for dynamic menu item filtering based on user or group, and ACLs on the target object, and ACLs on the targeted objects, just to make sure they are not accessed by other menus. Finally, we have MicroStrategy development, which consists of schema development, such as table import, menu item attribute development, application object development, such as creating a report for a menu that is used as a grid in a dashboard, configuration object development, such as security filters for a dynamic menu item filtering based on user or group, and ACLs on the targeted objects, just to make sure they are not accessed by other means. In this tutorial, we will show you how to build a dynamic grid-driven scrolling menu that links to other dashboards, how to limit user access to those objects, and how to display only the specific menu items to certain users without making multiple copies of the main document. Let's begin with database development. We'll start by creating a database table for the items that compose the menu. Let's begin by creating a database table for the items that compose the menu. Each row will contain the info for one menu item, which will also have columns reserved for HTML tags which display the image with an HTTP link to the associated dashboard. For ease of maintenance, an alternative approach would include columns for the multiple variables that compose the HTML code, such as target, MicroStrategy project name, and document ID. Then you would include a computed column, possibly in a separate SQL Server instance for displaying the final HTML. Here is a sample database table, DDL script, and data. The HTML anchor tag, though very long, has three pieces of information that change from link to link. Here we see the project name, the target document ID to run, and the path of the image to display. The database column containing the anchor tag is the one that will be mapped into the MicroStrategy attribute form that will be displayed in the MicroStrategy report that represents the menu. After this step, create an attribute, let's call it menu item, mapping the HTML column as a descriptive form. Add it to the columns of a new report and use that report as a grid in the main document. That report will be our menu. Set the width as fixed by right-clicking the grid and accessing the Properties and Formatting dialog on the Layout tab. Switching to interactive mode provides a good representation of the final view. Let's talk about using security filters to display or hide menu items by user or group. Security filters allow us to hide certain rows of data depending on the user or group that is executing the report through the document. In this case, since our rows of data represent menu items, we can use this mechanism to display different menu items to different users or groups. The dashboard with this menu approach will be seen differently depending upon who is executing it, though it is the exact same dashboard. In this sample example, we want user 1 to only be able to click the first target document, the first menu item, so we will use a security filter to hide all of the options except the first one. What the security filter is doing is aligning the user with the first row of data so that other rows will not pass to the BI layer for any action this user takes. Other variations of this exercise might include using the system login prompt in the report filter and using security filters associated with groups for group-specific menu requirements. Here, I am accessing the application settings and changing my login credentials to illustrate how the security filter will work. In this demonstration, I'm changing my login to the security filter user we just defined. The application now thinks I am the person who has the restricted menu view. See how the only image menu object that shows is the hospital. Next, we will talk about restricting object access using permissions and ACLs. Another necessary step to restrict document access is using permissions. We can't just rely on the display status, displayed or hidden, of the menu items to determine which document a user can access, as those documents could eventually be accessed by other means. To change the permissions, we have to edit the document's access control list, ACL, and set it according to our solution requirements. The access control list of an object is a list of users and groups and the access permissions that each has for the object. In this case, we want user 1 to be able to execute only the first targeted dashboard, while all the other users will have no restrictions. As an example of our final production application, taking advantage of this menu type, here you see the landing page menu in our Superlink sales application. Now, expanding from this example, other possible scenarios for this menu type may include using the menu item attribute in the grid rows instead of the columns for a vertical scroll, using a category or other parent type attribute for the menu items to allow other filtering logic, taking advantage of the MicroStrategy mobile URL API for other features other than executing a document. This could include changing an active panel, running a report, opening a PDF inside the app, and many other available functions. To conclude, we can see that a user's experience can be customized so that different objects are available and varying levels of data can be dynamically presented or hidden depending on your use case. And that's a wrap for this MATA course on personalization.